Hello, good afternoon. I am back for my live, and I'm sorry for anybody who the time changed here in the US. I'm going to be doing it at 20:30 UTC because it's the same time I've been doing it in the past, and I'm going to do my best to answer any questions that you guys have. I didn't see anything. I'm sorry, I'm just looking. I think I scheduled this thing for like tomorrow, but hopefully people know that it was supposed to be today. I can hop on again tomorrow briefly though too, that's no problem, just in case. So I am going to kind of just open up the floor for any questions, anything you guys want me to cover. Otherwise, I'll just start covering some of the current events. Okay. One thing that I'm looking at is this event with the first snow revelation and the furnace. This appears to be a pay-only event. Okay, infantry troops request. Absolutely can do that. But I know some people have been asking, where do you get these? The answer seems to be the shop or the shop. And I'm honestly a little disappointed. But what I'm hoping that we'll see is that maybe there will be some kind of a way to get these coming out that will help you get them for free. Maybe they'll do another event that lets you get some of these, but right now it's looking like it's only an option. You can use these in the Alliance furnace or the personal furnace. I tried it and it looked like it didn't really matter which one I used it in. It was kind of increasing the temperature both at the same time. And once you use them in the Alliance or you use them in the personal furnace, you'll be able to get your Alliance rewards. It's sort of like the Pegasus event, it seems like, where you have to contribute a certain to be able to claim these rewards. But the Alliance rewards are like, they're okay. This is like a random reward chest. And then the personal rewards are where it gets good, but the amount of money that it looks like you would need to be able to get to these is pretty intense. I put a $50 voucher on and I was able to get to the 150 centigrade tier just from getting one of these guys out of the shop. I picked up, I forget. I don't remember which one I got. Oh, no, I got like a $1 one just to get two of these, and then I grabbed the one that gave me 240, and I don't remember where it was now. But like, it looks like currently anything that you buy basically is going to give you these. So you can shop for whatever you would shop for normally and be getting these furnace, what are they called? Lava fire seeds. So you should be able to get, if you're looking to not have to buy out a lot of tiers, you could get a couple of the low level ones and get a bunch of them each day. And then, like I said, I spent a $50 voucher and it got me up to 150, which gave me, I think it gave me 147 of the seeds, and I got a couple extras to get me to 150. It's a 1-to-1. So I'm just saying like 6,000. I don't even want to do the math. Yeah. I'm not even talking about the castle. Like, yeah, that's like 10x what I spent. So that would be 500 to get like these you get a red crystal at this tier, which is sweet. And then at the far end, this is 10 of the 5-star dragon crystals. Like 10 of the 5-star dragon crystals is a lot of money but 6,000 of these is a lot of money too. I haven't done the math, but it's just it's thousands of dollars. So you won't be seeing me on there, but it's a really sweet reward. It's just not one that I'm going to be going for. Yeah, let's look at the castle. The castle is a nice one because it's like a 10% on all your attack stats, and it's a permanent one. But again, yeah, that's, 500. So the one good thing about this is at least you sort of know what you're getting, and you can get it as you're buying other things. So you don't need to just solely invest in this event. You could be picking up packs and getting, you could be getting your lucky coins, or you could be getting resources, or you could be getting speed ups, and you can still get credit towards it. So I suppose if you're going to be spending anyway, it's a kind of a nice way to get a bonus castle skin. But I'm in like no spending mode right now, so unfortunately I'm not going for this one. Okay. Okay, so somebody wanted to see infantry troops. I'm gonna okay. Um so what I've been doing on my inf account is I've focused on my infantry as my primary. So I've been trying to kind of double down. That's the nice thing about it's a good defense. This castle isn't something that I attack heavily with. It's a little bit more of a defensive castle or a trap castle that I will reinforce and send out for points and things like that. So, she's not soloing a lot of dens on her own. But I'm starting to work on getting up my other gear for my inf attack, and then I'll work on my inf defense here. So I'm sort of going in order of the chest plate and the boots to kind of balance out infant archer, and then I'm going for helmet, and then I'm going for sword for her. I'm a little ways away from getting a second 3-star because this is a really free, mostly a free-to-play account, and so I got a lot of these gear things I need to get before she'll be able to level up a second 1 to 3-star. But my runes are in much better shape. I've got them all +8, and I need to get them all to 25, so I'm just sort of slowly working on those. I did go in and I'm bringing my archer's stats up along with it. So I'm keeping them sort of like half what I have on my infantry runes. So if my infantry rune is a 25 and +8, this one is a 20 or a 10 or an 11, I can take it to 12, and it's like a +7. I like the archers a little bit better because I have, better damage on the lich with archers, and I have better damage on the gate, honestly, with archers, even though my stats are much better for infantry, like twice as much as they are on archers. And it's still much easier to do damage with my archers than it is with my inf. So it's sort of like I'm trying to keep them a little bit balanced and a little bit in line. So same here, I've got these totems, 7 stars, and I've got, a 6-star on my archer ones. And I've only really haven't done anything with the cavalry ones. My heroes for my infantry are focused on I've got my Apan and my Cujo. I've got Rod, and I've been working on getting Toot up so that I can have an archer troop to go along with my march. And I'm also working on a second march for archers. So what this looks like in a den, for example, would be my main march is a Cujo, Apan, Rod, and then I've still got some of these like 4-star heroes in here. Still give me a pretty decent bonus for where I'm at with this account. And then I have my troop hero I'm using Toot, but I really need to get him a little bit higher. And then I have also got my archer march that I'm working on. So again, these guys are not as high up there, but I have Norris, I've got Edith, and I've got my Anastasia in here just because I don't really have any good alternatives to her. At a +4, I might actually probably do better taking her out and putting in, I'm going to say, like a dolly for my archers. And so that will actually probably give me better damage now that I'm looking at it from my archer march. And that way I can keep my Rodriguez and my Toot over here. I've got him in both, so if I'm sending out both marches, I might be short a hero. Okay. I'm gonna just finish sort of looking at this really quick. If you want to see sort of my talents for my infantry, I'm again keeping a sort of balance between an archer. My inf attack is my highest, and then my archer attack is a little bit behind it. I'm not doing really cavalry stats at all. And then I'm working on troop stats. One thing I've noticed is that for infantry in particular, it's sort of more beneficial. Troop cap seems to matter more, and I'm not sure exactly why, but when you're trying to level dens with inf, and they're struggling. Like inf levels dens really slowly, so troop cap seems to make a bigger difference than it does for some others. Like I could be, if this account were cavalry, I have been doing 40s for months at this on this account with 320,000 T10 infantry and almost 3,000 attack. Like I would be easily soloing a 40 den if I was cavalry. Yeah, so somebody just said going archer inf is an interesting combo. It's not. It's actually inf archer, and that's why that's why. When I am doing the counters, right, you're always looking to have your secondary be the counter to your counter. And so if my account is infantry, hold on, I'll show it. So here's the counters, right? My account is infantry, so I am countered by cavalry. And so I want something as a secondary that's going to be able to save me from the cavalry people that might be coming to attack me. So I'm trying to build up a strong archer secondary to help me defend against cavalry people, basically. So yes, if I was archer main, then cavalry would be my secondary for sure. Okay. So that's my dragon talents. I mean, I think my lord talents are pretty straightforward because I've gotten most of the way down the tree. So I kind of came down here all the way with infantry and troop, and then I came back and I started doing the archer ones, and then like putting some things into vehicle and stuff. It's sort of a personal choice once I've maxed out the military to come in here and start looking at in the balance tree as some of these defensive ones, which is where I think it would make the most sense to go next once it's maxed out, and I might kind of reset this and redo them with that in mind. There was a question about the talent trees themselves. So this hunt march speed on the balance talents tree, yes, you do need to have, so I have got mine, one for military, one for economic, and one for balanced. And I just unlocked like a couple more, so I don't think I've actually really fully configured them. But on the balance tree, for example, this talent set is not active when I'm sending the march. It's not going to be effective. And so that's why it would be probably wise to take your extra military points and actually spend a little of them on the balance tree, because when you're sending that march out like to a den, it's going to be using like the slow speed unless you've put points in this on your active talent tree. So the question is also about castle attack. This is a hunt march speed. Hunt march speed is just for monsters. I've never seen, like, there's no description here, so that's not helpful, but it's not for castle attacks. This is just for monster attacks, like dens. So that's not going to help you like get a castle attack to march any faster. That's just going to be march speed in general, which is on your military tree. But the question also is around when you're sending troops to mine. When you're sending troops to mine, like you want to put your economic tree on, send the march out, and then you can switch it back. I've tested this, and you can only like when I've tested it, it holds the stats tree that was active when you sent the march. So if I set a den with my military tree and then switch to economic, my military tree will still be was used for hitting that den. Is not going to reduce my stats. If I do the same and I send a march out to gather, it's going to, whoop, hey guys, I got some noise outside, hold on. I'm going to close the window. Okay, I'm back. So when I send the march out to attack a den, and then I switch to the economic talent tree and then send the march out to gather, like the talent tree that was active when I sent the march is what is held it doesn't matter if you switch it once the march is sent out. That's what I've observed. I wish I could do subtitles, you guys. I can't. I've tried. I don't know how to do live subtitles. If anybody knows, just send me a link and I'll try and do it for next time. Yeah, I mean, like, if you only have 3 trees, I tend to go military, economic, balanced, and then if you get a 4th, I'll do military with my 2nd. So in this one, I would go archer focused. And you'll notice I sort of, like, I will preferentially put into vehicle before I will put in, like, the 3rd type, because I like my vehicles for defense. Even with the wall changes, I still like a good vehicle meat shield, so I put stats in them just to help me with my defense. But then when I come back in for this talent tree, it's going to be more archer focused. And then this last one, like, I haven't used it. It's just after I've done economic and I've done balanced and I've done military in 2 different troop types, the only thing I would consider doing is like a balanced talent tree that was focused more on like medical tent and healing versus training. So I would split out one of them and focus it on training, and split out the other and focusing it on like medical tent and healing. So kind of one goes down the left side and one goes down the right. And that's really like the 5th talent tree. If I were to use it, I would use it for that. And the 6th one, honestly, like, I've tried to use it before, and at the point that I unlocked it on my main, I was overflowing talent points at that point anyway, and it didn't matter. But if I kind of wanted to like redo my military one for my main mark, I would do all my inf. And I'm going to put some in balanced. And then I'm going to see how far I get. Got 46 points, so I could do some into here, and then I'm going to do kind of beef up my defense on my wall. And there's another set down here, but I'm going to stop there because I won't make it all the way down, and I'd rather come back here and spend some of them on my archer stats. Okay. That's my inf castle. Somebody asked to see like the skins and stuff. I think I only got like one permanent one on here, because this one was a pretty easy one to get. I don't have any of the permanent ambiances. Like, this is a pretty low low budget castle. I had the gargoyle one, and I don't even remember what this one came from. And I don't have any fancy marches on this castle. Like, she's pretty bare bones. This is all like a very functional sort of castle. The fancy stuff is all on my main castle. Fancy castle skins. I have got... I don't even know where I got the Warmonger permanent one from. The permanent one got this duck castle. This one was from the Roses event. This is funny. This, like, this castle I got because I needed diamonds super badly, and it was like, I was just like, what's the most expensive thing that I can find? It's like, it was like $50 for a 1% stat increase. I was like embarrassed to even use this castle, but this was the first permanent skin that I got. And then there's this Maple Manor one, which is just super pretty. This was one that I think was like actually available just to buy for a couple bucks in the shop. And so to get the achievement, that was a really nice and easy one to get. Like, the rest of these are just time-limited ones that you get as rewards from different events. And that's your kind of burned out dragon, like, basic castle skin. I've been using this, like, I like the maple trees, it's just kind of pretty. From an ambiance, I've got rainbows and sunshine. The sky dragon, which is the one that I'm using because it's badass. And that's it. Like, I don't have any other permanent ambiance. Like, I don't tend to spend on these events that give you these things. It's just like, especially when it's a ranking event, you could spend like a potentially unlimited amount of money and not know that you're going to get the castle or the skin or the ambiance or whatever. So I tend to only go for them when it's either just like a clear amount that you can like spend and know you're going to get it. Like, I don't like to kind of go for the ones where you could potentially spend thousands of dollars and then still not get it. Like, that's just crap. I don't do that. And then I've got a couple marches. I've gone back to using my reindeer. I have this Hellrider account march, and I refuse to use it because it's sort of had a traumatic association with me. I've also got the griffins that sort of like shed feathers as they're walking. But I've just been using the reindeer. Who's my favorite hero? Oh, that's a tough one. I don't even know like where to start on that. I do think that like Patty and Anastasia are pretty broken, especially together. I think probably like one of the most overlooked heroes is Aurora, because if you can use her in your arena team, and if you use Patty right before her, or you can cleanse right after her, you can keep using her sort of unlimited amounts to just like kill other people's heroes. You don't need to have any other damage dealer than her. You just need a strong defensive team, some rage regen and Patty, and you can take down basically any lineup with her. So I think she's pretty much overlooked, and I also think that the troop skill with the rally size, like, I've been asking my alliance to push Aurora because we need bigger rally caps. We're sort of struggling right now with overfilling our rallies on the gate. And so I've asked everybody to put more points into Aurora. I just got her to +6. Like, it's kind of embarrassing. She was hanging out there at +5 for a while. But I've been really liking Setmos. I think he's super handy. It's fun watching him in an arena team, just like, especially on an AoE team, and they all just kind of kill themselves on your defense. That's kind of hilarious. So I've been having fun with him. While I'm talking about heroes, let me do a couple. Maybe I'll do a couple matches and just show what I mean about like Aurora. Okay, so I want to show what I mean about Aurora. So I'm going to change this team a little bit. Add her in. And I'm going to, this is just going to be sort of a yellow and purple, dark and light team. Because I want Sirona in here. Because Sirona is going to help me with the rage regen. And so here you see I have a team that's like 2 million almost power higher than my lineup, and we'll see how I do against it. I'm just gonna throw somebody in here to balance this one out. So I'm going to use Edmund here to clear because I need Patty to be building rage. Okay, she's ready, and now I need my purples. Okay. All right, so here's how this is going to work. The first thing I'm going to do is use Patty, and then she gives you debuff immunity. So I don't even really care who I put it on. I'm going to put it on there, Patty. And then when Aurora is used, she gets a debuff on her. Basically, that stops her from growing rage until her ability goes off. But because we just use Patty, we get immunity from that, which means you can use her basically immediately again. She'll start growing rage again. So I'm going to try to take it up on because he's a pain in the butt. They also don't have any. I think I messed this up because I did it right after Patty. So I think it was immune on their side. But I'm just gonna have to do the same cycle again. Yeah, I have to wait like a 4 count after they use their Patty. I'm gonna use my Edmund to get rid of the Norris effect and to clear Aurora so she can keep growing rage. Using Serona is going to help my rage regen speed also. Always. It's always the one I don't want. Okay, so I need my Patty to go off before theirs. It's not going to happen again. So I'm just waiting. Like, I'm just going to sit and wait my 4 rounds and count them out and just throw some random tiles here. I'm going to use Edmund to clear. Three. Oh, I think I should be good. Oh, they stunned. They stunned her. I'm gonna use Monica to bring Patty's rage back down and give me a little time to clear that stun. There we go. Okay. So now I'm going to use my block on Patty and my insta-kill on Aban, and here you're going to see she's immune to the debuff. And I'm just going to build my rage back up. Clear Norris. That shit. It didn't work like I wanted it to. I'm sure I did something wrong. Nah, fuck it. Yeah, I'm not even gonna sit here and pretend to be a match 3 expert, you guys. Like, honestly, my part of the game is a PvP part. There's people who's way better at this than me. So, if you're here for match 3 magic, I hate to disappoint you. Okay. Um, what is the strongest stat, defense, or HP? Um, I don't know that there's like I'm not sure that's the question. Um, if the question is, would you be better off putting your points into defense or HP? My understanding of how the game mechanic works is that defense is the stat that is used first in determining battle and then HP. And so if you want to sort of go in an order that makes sense, you would go with defense and then HP. But I've heard arguments for doing it the other way, where, HP would be a stat that's useful in both attack and defense scenarios, and so you would prefer to put your points into HP. I've heard that argument as well. So honestly, until I can make like 2 identical accounts and just vary the one stat, which I don't think I'm going to be doing anytime soon. I'm going to be putting my points into defense first and then HP. It also depends, I think, a little bit on how you play the game. So if you're somebody who does a lot more attacking, then you would maybe do like attack, HP, defense. If you're somebody who does a little bit more, you play more defensively, then you might want to put your stats into like defense, HP, and then attack, right? So it depends on how you play the game as well. hit me up with questions, otherwise I'm just going to sit here doing Apex Arena. There's some people who are like, camp, kill the healer first, and some people who are like, kill the hero last. It depends a little bit for me. If I can manage the healer, then if I leave them with nothing to heal, they're not going to be doing much. They're not going to be doing much damage, so I don't have a way to cleanse, so I'm just kind of counting down and waiting on the Setimo skill on the other side to wear off. And trying not to hit him. I used up all my luck at the beginning of this event. Yeah, whatever I'm feeling. So what else can I show you guys? I'm sure I talked about this, but I had trained like 10 million T1 archers, and I had trained like 10 million T1 cavalry just to kind of get the achievement, and I've been slowly promoting those guys up to my T11s every time we get a training day, and I've also started making a meat shield of T6 infantries, which is a long way to go. Long way to go before that one's ready to go. Something also I noticed in the Lucky Flip event, they've added a Curio for Edmund, which is pretty nice. A rally attack bonus in the red, and it also has some good troop stats and a rally size bonus. So I've been trying to work on my rally cap and my rally size, so this one, it would be a good one to get. I am saving up for 50 of these lucky coins because 50 is like the guaranteed 50 is like the guaranteed jackpot. And so I'm gonna save up, like, it might not be this event, but it may be in a future event I can get that Curio for Edmund. What heroes do I have in my archer merch? Let's look. My main archer march is Norris, Toot, Edith, Freya, and Anastasia as my troop hero. And then I think I've talked about this extensively. For my one troop, I'm putting a cavalry. And it doesn't matter which, if I put a cavalry or an infantry, since I'm using Anastasia, she's all troop types, so it could be any, it could be a horse, it could be an inf, but my inf are pretty weak, so I just use my horse. The order shouldn't matter, but if you're using like an all troop hero like Anastasia, it can matter. And then I have secondary archer march, which is my string heroes. So I'm using Valerius because he's only at +7 and he'll die at +7 because I'm not spending the money on making him +8. Dawn and Hanzo, and then just like the 2 3-star archer heroes, Roger and Eamon. That's kind of my like second archer march, and then I've got one more that's like just whatever. Like if I haven't sent out my troop heroes, basically any other troop heroes, I threw them in here for a third archer march. So my Sodoma, my Rodriguez, Eris, and Eric. And there's this troop hero down here. She's Viola. A lot of people forget about her, but she is technically also a troop hero. So I just kind of threw them all in here just like as an additional third archer march if I need one. And then I've got 2 cav marches. Can I explain the hero order of importance? Yeah. Let me do my best to explain this. If we go into the sapphire mines, and I'm going to just kind of pick somebody who I'm probably not going to beat, but if I'm using multiple troop heroes and I have Anastasia because she's an all troop hero, like let's say I put her first and then I put Freya second, and I have my 1 cavalry and I'm using my archer formation. I'm not sure if it's going to be, yeah, it's broken here, so Freya's not in battle. Because it's sort of assigning that 1 cavalry to Anastasia and then not letting Freya have anybody left to use, basically. It's maybe not the most eloquent way. But if I do the same battle and Anastasia's after Freya, and I still have my 1 cav and my formation on, they all go, right? There, so Anastasia is being assigned to the cavalry. So it's mainly a concern when you're using multiple troop heroes, and either Anastasia or Valerius can cause this. So they go last. Beyond that, I've heard people sort of say that they see different den results when they put the heroes in a different order. I really can't make any case for why that would be the case, but people say that it is. I believe them. I've seen the reports and I have no idea why. So you can play around with it, but the one thing that does for sure matter is that if you're using a troop hero and an all-around hero like Anastasia or Valerius, put the all-around at the end. One other fun fact that some people don't know about the Sapphire Mine is if you're going to retaliate and you go all the way back here to some of your really old ones, the retaliation is going to let you attack the person with the stats that they had at the time that they took your stuff. So depending on like how long it's been and how fast you've grown, you can sometimes win battles against like stronger people. If it's been long enough, like if you do a lot of growing real fast, you can come in here and sometimes you can get stuff back from somebody who is technically currently stronger than you, but that is at the time that they pillaged you, they're weaker than you are now. Then you can get some of your stuff back. So just FYI. I'm going to talk for a minute about curios because they've added a lot of new ones. And I honestly haven't gone through and looked at all of these in detail, but I might as well do it now. There's this Warhammer for Edmund that we were just looking at. There is these Sinful Blades for Eric, which gives infantry damage up against archers. So that's pretty nice for your infantry accounts. These wings for Eris, which gives you cavalry damage against infantry up. So that's nice for your calves. I feel like this one's been out. It's a Tala Curio, it's a troop attack. This is new. It's a hurricane. For Echo. I forgot her name for a minute. So this hurricane for Echo scrambled troop attack. So this is only going to be relevant during Conquest of Lord battles for the Hollow Might. But it's a troop attack of like 200% when you're conquesting or contesting the hall. So that's super nice. I think that's it for the new ones. But some of these are pretty sweet. So I've been looking for like where to get. There was a chest in one of these events that drops them. Not that. This one. So this is ridiculous, but this is the furnace event. So if you can get all the way up to 3,000, you get sort of your choice of scrolls, and it's the elf wing, the angel staff, the fiend's wing, the sinful blades, and the sword of angels. So these are like some pretty hard to get curio scrolls. If you're spending the money on this event, which I'm not. So I'm going to be sort of craft some of these and hoping for the best. Because they still haven't added them. I have not seen them like show up here in this any of these free curio boxes, and as you know, I don't spend money on curios. I kind of just save up the free boxes and hope for the best with my random pulls. So I'll be doing a lot of random crafts and hoping that I get something good. All right, what other questions do you guys have? Did I alliance trial? I'm going to see if there's an account I didn't do my alliance trial on yet. This is farm. Okay, I didn't do it here yet. So I'm gonna do my alliance trial lineup, and then I'm gonna call it a day. Make sure that you're checking out my YouTube channel. I just added a Patreon link, and so I've seen at least a handful of people already came in and supported me. I super appreciate it. It helps me keep making these videos for you guys. I haven't posted a video this week exactly because of that. I was busy getting the Patreon up, but I'm going to try and get one out for you tomorrow. I'm hoping to do one on how to improve your damage on the gate, and then I'm going to have sort of an exclusive tip that's only for Patreon subscribers at the end that's going to double your gate damage. So if you haven't, check out the link in my bio, and I'll add it here as well for the Patreon. I'm going to have some exclusive tips and content that's going to be behind a little bit of a paywall, because the game has been sort of using my videos to sort of break hacks that we're using, and not hacks, but like things that we're using that I would consider smart strategies. They've been patching. And so to sort of prevent that and to keep you guys getting the best info possible, I've got a couple exclusive videos that are going to be up only on the Patreon page and only in my Discord for subscribers. So take a look and support. You know, there's tiers starting just at $5 a month, and that'll get you access to all those videos. So I super appreciate it, and it really helps me out as well. Now let's talk about Alliance Trial. This lineup I'm going to share with you is kind of a Long Nuts special. He shared it with our Alliance, and he gave me permission to share it with everybody. So basically it's this. You are going to be using Patty for Freezing Rage. You're going to be using Anastasia for regenerating rage. You're going to use Edith and Fiona for defense down on the monster and for attack up on yours, and you're going to try to use them before you use Sodoma to increase the damage that she deals. And basically you get 30 rounds now that the game capped Patty's skill at 30 rounds. Exactly because of what we were just talking about and them reacting to some of our videos. So people are getting hundreds and hundreds of rounds and taking hours and hours on Alliance Trial, and now it's capped at 30 rounds. So basically you have to try to do as much damage as you can in 30 rounds. So this is the new lineup. So we get 30 rounds, we get 10 rounds to build our rage. So I always try to get at least Patty full first, and then Sodoma. And then I'm going for our reds. Okay. And this is going to be no matter what color the boss is, basically. It's always going to be the same lineup. All right, I have a round of like throwaway stuff here, so I'm just going for the tile damage. And a purple, because it doesn't matter. Oh, set off my yellows. Okay, so here we go. I am going to freeze the boss, get my defense down and attack up, and then I'm going to hit it with Sodoma to do damage and also to reduce its rage so that it doesn't hit me. And then we sort of repeat. We're going to try to get Patty filled up again. And hope we get some yellows in here. Okay. Ew, I forgot to fill Patty. Because I'm not good at this. I'm not gonna lie, I'm not good at this. All right, I'm not setting any records in Alliance trial, but like, I think if other people who are better at match 3 than me use this, you're gonna get some pretty good results. So I recommend you give it a shot. Um, I'm gonna call it here. I hope you guys enjoyed this, and we'll do it at the same time again next week. Of course, you can send me questions ahead of time so we have some topics to cover, or we can just randomly bump around and answer any as you go. Please do check out the Patreon. I'm going to be dropping like new videos every week there, and I'm going to be putting up some cool things you can buy as well. I'm going to have some stickers out, and I'm going to put out some merch for the Kate avatar, and I'm going to also put up some custom things that you can get if you want to get your avatar on like a mug or something like that. I got some cool stuff coming, so keep an eye open. And if you want an avatar, let me know. I can do those as well. I can do any kind of like from the game, or any if you want your face on it. But in overall, it's going to have some pretty cool features. I'm going to just have exclusive videos behind the scenes there for people who want those things that I'm not going to talk about in the public YouTube channel for fear that the game is going to patch them. So check it out, join the Discord, and I hope that I'll see you on Patreon and in Discord soon. Thanks everybody so much. Enjoy your day.